team, this is Nathan. Hope you all are doing well. Today's topic, I want to go over how do you run a sub 140 half marathon. There are a lot of athletes out there that are trying to run that 1:39:59 time. Maybe you're in 1:45 or you're 1:52 or you're in that range and you want to run 1:39:59 and finally break that 1 hour and 40 minute half marathon barrier. Very, very competitive time. That comes out to 7 minutes and 37 seconds for each mile for 13.1 miles. So again, it's really about improving your body's lactate tolerance. You have to be able to handle higher amounts of lactic acid buildup and to be able to clear it. And easy running, easy running is very important in terms of training for the half marathon, but you have to train at paces significantly faster than your goal half marathon race pace. In this case, sub 140 for the half. You have to also pay attention to also putting in consistent mileage, okay? Not just being lukewarm about this, but being red hot, zeroed in, and 100% focused on becoming a sub 140 half marathon athlete. On RunDreamAchieve.com, I do have training plans for athletes that are training to break the sub 140 half marathon barrier. I always talk about this. It's very important. The longer your build up, the better, because you're not rushing your fitness. You focus on building your aerobic base sufficiently before you start working it into half marathon specific training, doing those faster, longer tempo runs. All the fundamentals that go into breaking 1 hour and 40 minutes for the half marathon. Again, 7:37 per mile for 13.1 miles, the athlete has to be mentally tough, physically prepared, and more importantly, rested, and to go into that half marathon fully rested and adapted to the hard training that he or she has undergone. In terms of the half marathon distance, preparing minimal 16 weeks, preferably 20 to 24 weeks for the half marathon distance, as well as the marathon distance. Because again, it takes anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks for your body to adapt to any physiological stress that you're placing on it. So you can't just expect quick results, in a matter of a few days, okay? You have to first stress, see what it feels like to run, say, repeat miles at goal half marathon race pace at first, giving yourself like 4 minutes recovery in the early stages of your, 16 week to 24 week buildup. And then as you get fitter, then start spending some time running at like 6:40 mile pace, and then lessening the amount of recovery you're giving yourself in between each one of those intervals that you're doing on the track or on the roads. You have to start running faster long runs, okay? Coupled with very easy, relaxed long runs, okay? Always alternate your long runs. If you haven't done this in the past, one of the best recommendations I can share with you all, and I've seen it working with athletes that are following the Run, Dream, Achieve philosophy, is don't just run long, slow, and easy every single weekend. If you've done that in the past, I'm sure you've been, in terms of your endurance, you've built your endurance, you've become very fit aerobically, but a lot of athletes have problems sustaining goal half marathon race pace because, again, they're just not running a high enough percentage of their weekly volume at or below goal half marathon race pace. The world's top middle to long distance runners are running anywhere from 35 to 40% of their weekly volume at anaerobic threshold effort or slightly faster than anaerobic threshold effort. Now, your anaerobic threshold, and this is based on Dr. Jack Daniels' VDOT calculator as well, is 85 to 89% of your maximum heart rate. And that's pretty much the same type of philosophy that Coach Hazen, when I was coached by Jack Hazen at Malone University, Coach Hazen and Dr. Joe Vigil, who was another mentor of mine, they all revolved around, their same style of training is very similar to Dr. Jack Daniels' training as well. And obviously Dr. Daniels is one of the world's top distance running coaches as well. Most of my training philosophy and the way I coach my athletes on, with the monthly coaching option is revolved around these specific three world-class distance coaches. So you have to run longer periods of time at higher percentages of your maximum heart rate. So the way I was able to go from 110.29 for the half marathon down to 107.06 for the half marathon in 2:43:36 for the marathon down to 2:19:35 was I was running varied pace long runs. Okay, so that means, I mean, it wasn't just a nice, easy, relaxed, consistent effort for 18 to 20 miles. I would run, say for example, like a 20 miler. I would do 2 miles easy, maybe 5 miles at around 5:30 mile pace, 2 miles easy, a 4:55 mile, so a very fast, around 3K to 5K effort. So I drop a really fast mile, run the next 5 miles at say around 5:55 mile pace, 2 miles easy, 4:55 mile, and then back into easy, relaxed, consistent pace for the remainder of the run. So again, it's a mixture of running you're running a certain amount of time at VO2 max effort. So VO2 max is it's your maximum oxygen uptake, your body's maximum oxygen capacity. Running at VO2 max, you're only going to be able to spend a few seconds to a few minutes at that particular effort. So you want to make sure that you're spending a percentage right around 10 to 15% of your weekly volume running around at VO2 max effort as well. Doing that coupled with running longer tempo runs at your anaerobic threshold is going to make that goal half marathon race pace. In your case, you're trying to run 1:39:59. You want to make sure you train in such a way that you get that 1:39:59 race pace to feel more like marathon race pace. It's not going to be as aggressive and as intense for you as it once was early on in your build-up. So running a higher percentage of your weekly volume at a higher percentage of your maximum heart rate is going to help prepare you to sustain that goal half marathon, that was sub 140 half marathon race pace that you're aiming for a longer period of time. You'll be able to get out more aggressive and to be able to sustain that race pace that you're aiming for. You also have to make sure, in terms of breaking the 1 hour and 40 minute half marathon, that you continue to visualize yourself doing that. Mental training is probably more important than physical training, in my opinion. I utilize mental training and mental rehearsal daily over several years, and I credit that as being one of the most important parts of how I was able to run down at 107.06 for the half, running a 2:19:35, going out the first half in a 107.09, only 3 seconds off my half marathon PR. Okay, so I was able to run very aggressive in those races because, again, I spent so much time training under 5 minute mile pace that I was able to run 5:07 mile pace for a half marathon, or 5:19 per mile pace for the marathon. So again, in your case, you have to get 7:37 mile pace to feel more like 9 minute mile pace. And to do that, it's unfortunate, it's very painful. You have to spend some time running closer down towards 6 minute mile pace, 6 minute to 6:30, about a minute to a minute and a half faster than your goal half marathon race pace. And you also have to make sure that you're jogging on recovery days. Give yourself a minimum of 2 days of recovery in between each hard anaerobic workout you're doing. There's only so many times you can push the body hard anaerobically before you start to get diminished returns on your time investment. So anything worth doing right is worth doing right the first time. Okay? The main philosophy at RunDreamAchieve.com, as well as on NutritionGeeks.com, my other website, is to make sure that we focus on training smarter rather than harder. Okay? Leverage is something most of us have not been taught. Leverage simply means doing more with less. Most people have been taught to work hard, very hard. And the hardest working people, the hardest working athletes, are not the ones that always get the best results. Okay, I'm sure you know a ton of hardworking people that are living paycheck to paycheck. Why is that? They've been taught to rely on one source of income. Okay, they know how to work hard. They're highly motivated. They're highly educated, but yet they're drowning in debt. So there's other philosophies that's revolved around leverage in regards to income production. Okay, I have an MBA in business management. I'm working on a doctorate of business administration from the University of Missouri, St. Louis. I've studied entrepreneurship. Okay, I like leverage, but I also know, and I'm certain, that leverage in athletics and athletic performance can go a long way as well. You can be running high mileage and still never break an hour and 40 minutes for the half marathon if you're not setting up your preparation properly. If you're running too aerobically, you're just running high mileage for high mileage sake, and it'll make you a superior long, slow distance runner. You're trying to run a very fast time and break in an hour and 40 minutes. So you have to think more strategically. You have to work, okay, how can I get better results by working smarter and working less? Okay, would you rather run 50 miles a week and get a 1:39:59, or run 100 miles a week and run 2 hours and 10 minutes? Okay, it's every athlete's different, but you just have to think in a different way. And that's how I've set up the running courses and the training plans. It's how I work with my athletes one-on-one in the monthly coaching. So if that's something that you're interested in, feel free to reach out to me. If you have any questions or you want to leave a comment below, let me know in the comment section what you think about this particular video, how you've trained for your half marathon, and what has went right and what has went wrong for you. I'd love to hear that, because a lot of times, athletes can have a high amount of motivation and drive, but they still aren't hitting those times. And so that's what I want for the most out of the training plans and running courses I've created here on RunDreamAchieve.com as well as on NutritionGeeks.com. I want those particular resources to help athletes get their new personal best by training in a different way and studying what the world's top distance running coaches as well as the top running middle to long distance runners are doing. So I hope this video is helpful for you. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me. And again, check out the resources below. All my videos are there to help you. Like this video, share it. Hopefully this advice helps more athletes around the world that are aiming to break an hour and 40 minutes for the half marathon or whatever specific time you're going for. These tips and strategies will help you as well. So I'll talk to you all in the next video.